Michael Gove successfully exposed the EU's hypocrisy when it comes to fishing rights, Express readers have emphatically concluded in an online poll. And one even turned the language of the bloc against itself, suggesting it was Brussels, not Britain, who was guilty of cherry-picking. Mr. Gove, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, trained his sights on Brussels during a meeting of the committee on Monday, during which he suggested the bloc's insistence on access to UK waters after Brexit flew in the face of its own logic in relation to the inevitably changed nature of the trading relationship. His remarks clearly struck a chord with readers who were asked, did Michael Gove reveal the EU's hypocrisy with its demand to access UK waters? A remarkable 98% of the 6,252 people who voted between 10 a.m. this morning and 6:30 p.m. this evening 6,074 said yes. Just 143, barely 2%, disagreed, while a statistically negligible 35 were undecided. Reader Michael Taylor commented, of course he Michael Gove did. They tell us that we can't expect the same access to their single market, something that no one on our side expects anyway, merely the same access that Canada, Japan and South Korea have, yet they expect the same access to our fishing grounds. Mr. Taylor, echoing an infamous Instagram post by then European Council President Donald Tusk aimed at former Prime Minister Theresa May, added, sounds like cherry-picking to me. Jennifer Garcia said, we don't need Gove to point out the rank hypocrisy of the EU, most of us have been aware of it for years. They are just finding it difficult to come to terms with the fact we no longer have to do as we are told and follow their orders, about anything. Another reader added, of course they are hypocrites, what do you expect? They are resentful, but more than that, they are running scared. Another argued it was a clear sign the bloc did not actually want a free trade deal, saying, it's a plain as the nose on your face the EU do not want to negotiate a deal with the UK. It should be a simple cut-and-paste agreement as it's already been largely agreed with other third countries, but at every turn the EU spanners come in to halt any progress. Walk away today. Speaking before a virtual evidence session of the Committee on the Future Relationship with the European Union, Mr. Gove cited the ongoing dispute over fishing rights as an example of the way in which EU negotiators were not treating the UK yet as they would treat other independent countries. He added, this is one area where I think that the EU's stance is particularly difficult and challenging. The EU quite rightly say to the UK, look, you're leaving and we respect that. You cannot have the same rights if you do not have the same obligations, outside the EU as inside the EU, and we accept that. We accept that the nature of our economic relationship will change. Well, have a free trade agreement, we want be members of the single market. But, the EU don't appear to accept their own logic when it comes to fisheries. They want to continue to have more or less the same access, they particularly want to maintain what's called the relative stability mechanism, which governs access to our waters on the basis of out-of-date, historical patterns of fishing. Our view is when we leave, well be an independent coastal state like Norway or Iceland or the Faroes. And therefore, access to our waters should be negotiated on an annual basis in the way it is with those other countries.